spend more time doing this as opposed to thinking the most important thing to Etsy success is having a shop that is. So I've been selling on Etsy for around 4 years now, and in that time I've sold over 43,000 items and had over 11,000 5-star customer reviews. I've sold everything from print-on-demand mugs to t-shirts to kids shirts to towels, and all in various niches from K-pop to knitting. I've spent thousands upon thousands of hours figuring out Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and this whole selling on Etsy thing where I've added at least 2,000 listings to my shop. So in this video, I want to go through some of the lessons that I've learned from selling on Etsy, and these aren't specific to selling on Etsy, but these are some of the lessons that I've learned about how to sell on Etsy successfully so that I can do it over a long period of time. These things can help you get sales in the long run, and like doing anything for long periods of time, there have been moments that have been incredibly frustrating, whether that was due to shipping delays so severe I thought I was going to have to close my shop, but at the same time, it's been extremely rewarding and life-changing, and let's be clear, not just for the money, but perhaps more importantly, for knowing I can sell successfully, that I can make money online successfully. And I can sell things others struggle with because they are very generic items like t-shirts, and I can do it very well. Like learning anything, just knowing you can do something and that you can make progress has made it extremely rewarding for me personally. I'm going to share with you the 9 keys to Etsy success, or lessons I've learned from selling on Etsy over the last 4 years. And the first one is that scams and terrible customers are actually pretty uncommon. When a lot of us start selling on Etsy or start selling anything online, we legitimately think we are going to be scammed, or that we will receive horrible reviews from our customers. And we are often concerned that someone is trying to take advantage of us to get an item for free. However, the reality is that most people shopping online are honest, well-intentioned people, and they sincerely want to purchase the product from us. Unfortunately, they are also just as concerned about getting scammed as we are. So if the item is missing in shipping and the customer reaches out, it probably went missing and the customer just wants the item. And after 43,000 sales on Etsy, the number of scammers is actually very low. Although yes, I will say that the less scrupulous types will try to target newer Etsy shops and take advantage of your time or try to get free stuff out of you. Please keep in mind that this tends to pass over time, so just don't obsess about it and move on. Number 2 is to give people what they want. Selling online and selling on Etsy is actually pretty simple, and that's to give people what they are looking for, or to convince them that they now have to have the item that they saw in our shop that they didn't even know they were looking for in the first place. My Etsy customers tell me that they go to purchase on Etsy because they want to purchase something they couldn't find anywhere else, and they also want to feel like they are supporting a small business, a real person with a real face, with a real story behind the product, as opposed to purchasing from a large retail store. So as Etsy sellers, we need to make something that large retail stores can't make in some way, like an item that is more specific to the needs of the customer that can't be found anywhere else. Number 3, progress over perfection. When we start out selling on Etsy, we really think our shop needs to be perfect. In reality, many customers just look at the main listing photo, maybe click a bit further, but not always. You can start your Etsy shop by prioritizing the initial goal of adding a few listings or items to your shop, and then start to go and add your About Me section, your shop banner, or improving your logo. These things can help you get sales in the long run, but if you don't have any items to sell, no one can buy from you. So don't get held up by being a perfectionist. It's more important to start. Number 4 is to stay healthy and productive. When I tell some of my friends the number of hours that I spend on my Etsy shop, they are literally blown away. I work on my Etsy shop every single day of the year, and most people would say, wow, I couldn't do that. And yes, the number of hours can be significant and it definitely fluctuates, and I do have control over it. If I'm on vacation with my family, I can spend as little as an hour a day just making sure I'm answering customer questions and requests and making sure that my orders are being sent out from my print-on-demand suppliers with Printify. But if I really want to grow my business, or if I'm receiving anywhere from 50 to 120 orders a day, then that is eating up a significant amount of time time in my day, even though I work full-time as a middle school band and choir teacher. So definitely my weekends aren't just spent having fun and doing whatever I want, putting my feet up on the couch. It's spent prioritizing spending time with my family, working on my Etsy shop, and getting done whatever else needs to be done around the house. This means I have to be extremely productive. I have several robot vacuums and a robot mop to help clean the house when I go to work. I always cook and prepare healthy foods in large batches, so I don't have to think about it. I run 3 to 5 miles a day, and generally, I find that the busier I am, the more productive I am because I need to be more efficient. Everyone in my house also helps out. My husband also makes our kids lunches. I do find that if I have a day where I think there's nothing planned, I have so much time, I can get so much done. Ironically, I tend to get very little done because I have no real plan or anything that is forcing me to stay on track. So find some productivity strategies that work for you and keep working to accomplish your goals, whatever they are. Number 5, customers matter. To stay successful on Etsy in the long term, responding to customer messages has to be a priority, especially if they have an issue. If a customer sends me a note that they aren't happy with the way an item was printed, I'm probably responding nearly instantly 99% of the time because I know the customer is already angry and I really don't want them to leave a bad review if I can respond in the meantime. At the same time, if a customer is asking if a specific item in the shop can be adapted or customized to meet their needs, I'm also much more likely to get the sale if I respond quickly as opposed to waiting until later in the day when my kids have gone to bed. Number 6, SEO isn't everything. Now, SEO or search engine optimization matters, but it doesn't matter more than the item itself. You can have perfect keywords, but if the item, well, kind of sucks, then it doesn't matter how great the keywords are, the item's still not going to sell. Whereas having a newer and more unique product where there is no competition yet, because you are the first one to think of this idea, will always shine and sell very quickly. So don't beat yourself up about your SEO. Spend more time focusing on creating better products and adding better photos to help convince your customers that your product is amazing. Number 7, stop looking at and obsessing over competitors' shops, and instead spend more time focusing on adding new listings or improving the ones you already have. Sure, it's easy to look at the success someone else is having on Etsy and to wish that we had it for ourselves. But if we spend more time doing this as opposed to thinking what it is and why it is another shop's items are selling, and then applying those principles to our own shop by simply adding more listings or improving our existing listings in some way, then we're focusing on something that will slow us down as opposed to speed up our progress. Number 8, ride the wave of trends, but steer clear of trademarks and copyright. The most important thing to Etsy's success is having a shop that is open and able to sell on Etsy, as opposed to having a suspended shop where you can no longer sell anything at all. There are always trends happening, and nowhere are these trends more apparent than on Etsy. And while some of these products might be tempting to add to your Etsy shop, such as items related to sports teams, these same items can get your shop shut down. If you see someone else selling it, they might have been lucky so far, but it doesn't mean their shop will be okay in the long run. As an example, if you search something related to popular cartoon or comic book characters, you might find that most of the shops selling these items are brand new Etsy shops and simply haven't been caught yet. More experienced sellers know to steer clear of these kinds of items for the longevity of their shop. Number 9, enjoy the journey and the adventure. It can be a bumpy ride selling on Etsy, but most of the time it's actually pretty fun. I really love creating products that promote positivity and education and learning, or helping customers celebrate special occasions. And when customers send me photos showing off how proud they are to show off items they've purchased from my shop, then I know I'm also helping to make the world a better place, which, as cheesy as it sounds, is actually pretty fulfilling and helps to keep me selling on Etsy, as there is also a closer relationship with the customer than perhaps selling on some other platforms. As always, I wish you all the very best of luck and success in building your Etsy shop for today, tomorrow, and for well into the future. See you later, superstar.